go, man. Just what is, Porter, huge fight with Crawford. He's come up short at that level just a little bit. What can he do differently to pull off, a fight where he's the underdog against Terence Crawford? And just thoughts on, how's he get over the hump?
Listen, man, when you fighting with a guy like Terence Crawford, bro, I mean, there's not one thing that you can say that how do you get over the hump. I think that Shawn Porter mentally is the toughest guy, one of the toughest guys. I mean, his mentality, I love it. I mean, it reminds me of mine. He just wants to fight the best in the world. So I respect that, and I respect him. Terence Crawford, he gets a chance to show if he's special, like truly, truly special. Shawn Porter's giving everybody in the division hell. Everybody, he's the lose by split decision, close, when he fought against Earl Spence. So this is the measuring stick that I think that, Crawford needs. We need to see what he can do against a guy like Shawn Porter, but I like the fight a lot. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I know a lot of people saying, yeah, damn right it's a 50-50 fight. People saying that it's 60-40, this, that, Crawford gonna win easy. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? This is Shawn Porter we talking about, dude with granite chin, the guy that's cerebral, a guy that knows how to think inside the ring. He can change rhythms off and on. I mean, Terence Crawford is a rhythm type of fighter. Once he gets going, he starts tapping on you. It's almost similar to Navarrete. Once he starts tapping you, get his jab going, then the combinations are flying. And I understand that. So Shawn Porter, the fact that I know that he knows how to change rhythm, he knows how to make adjustments inside the ring. He can box you at times. He can swarm you at times. One of the areas that he maybe needs to be careful with is his lunging, because Terence Crawford has the craziest, I'm talking about the craziest reaction time when it comes to intercepting offense coming his way, bro.
You reach, I teach, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Bro, I'm telling you, his timing, his combinations are vicious, they're accurate, they're pinpoint. We saw it in the last fight against Brook. I saw the adjustment he made, and it was over, bro. Over. So many people think that he stopped Shawn Porter. I want to see that. I want to see that. I don't know.
Just your thoughts and prediction on Crawford Porter, please.
I think Crawford will stop him inside 9 rounds. I think he'll be very one-sided. I don't believe Porter will win a round in that fight. Or many rounds. What?
He went pretty evened up with Thurman in his prime and spent
Crawford is much better than Thurman. Yeah. And by the way, Porter's a great fighter, but he's been in too many wars. He's this layoff again, like the inactivity spell. I'm not saying the rounds won't be reasonably competitive, but I just don't believe he'll win many of them, and I think he'll get stopped. It's only my opinion. Like I think Shawn Porter's an unbelievable servant to the sport, tough guy. But Crawford is a special fighter, and I think he'll win that fight pretty straightforward.
Thanks, Eddie. Terence Crawford, a day or two ago, he mentioned you were the best fighter he's ever fought, the toughest fight he had. What do you think of that, and do you think he beats Shawn Porter next Saturday?
Yeah, but I've been asked this question a few times. And then I have something to say for Shawn Porter, too. He has said that I gave him the best fight of his career to Terence Crawford, but that he has everything I have plus more. Honestly, I don't see anything special in Shawn Porter. And if you guys have seen the video that we sparred back when I was way younger, I was giving it to him. I feel like Crawford is a crafty fighter. He's a champion for a reason, and he's gonna beat Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter has nothing special. He doesn't have a jab. He doesn't have a good hook. He doesn't even hit hard. All he does is smother people and move his head like he just started boxing. So I mean, after he gets his ass kicked by Crawford, maybe we can set up with me, since he says he has better ability than me. We can make that happen, because I know this guy's not going to run. I know he's going to bang, so we'll see who's a bigger banger.
Tell us how you really feel. And just your thoughts on Crawford Porter, man. How do you see that shaking out?
That's another good fight too. I think Porter got too much, boxing ability, but we're gonna find out what his chin is like, because Porter gonna bring that pressure the whole time. So.
Oh, did you mean Crawford's boxing ability?
Yeah, Crawford got the boxing, but Porter got the power, and it's gonna check his chin. But that's really we're gonna find out is how good Terence Crawford's chin is, because Porter gonna bring it.
Does Porter got to do anything different that, because he lost real close in these big fights? Does he got to do anything different to get over that hump, you feel like?
I think he got to find a way to really hurt Crawford. If he doesn't visibly hurt Crawford, he might not win the fight. So he got to find a way to hurt him in any way, shape, or form that he can.
Think he could pull it off against Terence?
I'm pulling for him.
Right.
I'm cool with Shawn, so I'm gonna be rooting for Shawn. It's definitely gonna be a tough fight, but you know, a game Shawn could give anybody problems. So I hope he gets that fight and he pulls it through.
What would be his best chance to win that fight? You know, stylistically good.
You can't let Crawford get comfortable. I feel Crawford could do it all. He could box, he could counterpunch, he could bang, he could box if he wants to. So it's kind of like whatever you want to. You can't play chess with him. I mean, I just feel he's too smart. You're not gonna catch him with feints. You gotta make it rough in there. You gotta try to get him with condition. I don't know. You know, they haven't cracked him yet, but Terence is a switch hitter. You know, like my little brother Emmy. So Terence is one of my favorite fighters. So, but Shawn, he just has to come and make it rough in there. Honestly, I mean, that's the way I see it.
You know, Crawford and Porter, they're right. You're right. Them as the top three guys of the WBO. Who do you think wins that fight and why, Virgil?
I'm leaning more towards Crawford. I think Crawford, he's too skilled. He has too much skill. But Porter, you know, he can potentially rough him up. That's the thing about Porter. He doesn't make anyone look good. He's just that one fighter that it's kind of hard to look good against. So that being said, I think that it's going to be a very tough and competitive fight for sure. If it's going to be one, whether you find Porter or whatever. But I think Crawford's going to win.
You know, Crawford Porter is obviously what we're all here for. A panel of 20 experts were picked by the ring to pick the fight. All 20 picked Crawford. Mm-hmm. Is that out of whack in your mind, or how do you see this fight?
No, I think that's reflects, I think, the conventional wisdom, which is two excellent fighters. One is considered like a pound for pound type guy, and the other is not quite that. I'll just point this out to people. Errol Spence is tall, rangy, southpaw. Can beat you just on the jab and defense, did it to Mikey Garcia. But doesn't usually do that. Is aggressive, has punching power in both hands. He's quick for, you know, considering that package. He also throws a high volume of punches, is an accomplished body puncher, has great stamina, takes a shot, a lot of heart. Like, show me where Errol Spence, like where there's a real obvious gap in his game, right? That fight with Shawn Porter was a classic welterweight fight, and the difference was a knockdown late in the fight. Otherwise, that fight could go either way. Mm-hmm. So, like, if people are just thinking, Shawn Porter, yeah, it's just a little obstacle. No, Shawn Porter is capable of beating anybody. He's capable of winning this fight. And when you think of guys like Crawford with a lot of classical skill, I think of like Floyd and Maidana. The way sometimes past that is an awkward fighter where the punch is not coming where you're expecting it, right? That can be Porter, who also brawls when you want to box, boxes when you want to brawl. He's a high IQ fighter, in fact, and he's gotten smarter as his career goes on. Mm-hmm. The one thing about Crawford that I'll talk about today is when I think of like a Holyfield type, just the kind of guy who's just going to give you hell, right? He's going to give you hell, even if you beat him. The only guy Holyfield didn't give hell in his whole career, the guy who just went through him, was James Toney, because he had that very precise placement, especially of the body punches, and he just cut through Holyfield and really destroyed him. If Crawford can pull that off, then he can maybe stop him or have his way, but Porter, to me, he ain't going out like that. To me, this is a bell-to-bell war.
You know, Crawford, it's been since really the Jeff Horn and the Postal fight that he's really got up on those legs, and
yeah,
he's been standing in front of guys fighting. Do you think that's what he does with Shawn, or he gets back on those legs?
No, I think, as Larry Merchant once said, you know, people talk about boxer-puncher, and he talked about puncher-boxer, meaning, yeah, he has well-rounded skills, but the emphasis is on the offense. Mm-hmm. Terence Crawford went as a lightweight from boxer-puncher to an older, bigger fighter, welterweight puncher-boxer. He still has skills, but he's more interested than ever in really initiating the offense and beating you up. But the exchange is you get hit a little more.
Who's closer to still being at their peak at 34 minutes?
It's impossible to tell because we haven't seen Crawford in a minute, and last time we saw him, he was getting tagged pretty good by a guy in Calviasis who you know, not setting the world on fire. But then again, maybe you fight up or down to your level of opposition, and he's a solid fighter. But based on that fight, if that's the only thing you knew about Crawford, who knows who wins the Porter fight, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say. And Porter's had a couple fights where you go, oh, the other guy really won. Ugas, like, you say, well, you got lucky there, or who was it? It was
Joel Diaz.
No. I'm thinking about the one British fighter who Golovkin broke his. Kell Brook. Mm-hmm. Now Kell Brook was at his best. That might have been his best fight, right? Against Shawn Porter. He beat him clean. He beat Porter clean, but otherwise, Shawn he's like giving everyone hell. He's giving them hell.
Do you lean either way towards who will win the fight?
I mean, I lean toward Crawford.
Stoppage?
No. I think, but I lean toward Bud. I think he'll win the fight. But you just like boxing history shows, when you have a guy like Shawn Porter, you count him out at your own peril.
Now we got Terence Bud Crawford versus Shawn Porter. Now we get to see him against the top elite 147 pounder. How do you see that fight, happening?
Shawn Porter makes any fighter look ugly. Any fighter. We saw that he did that to Earl Spence. I'm a rock with Crawford, only because he can box, he can punch, he has that dog in him, and Porter too. I mean, Porter's like a freaking tank. He just goes right through it. He just goes right through you, and Porter got that dog in him too. So I think overall it's gonna be a great fight. But if I had to bet, I'm rocking with Crawford.
I think the big conversation, and a lot of people is favoring Bud to win because of his boxing abilities and things of that nature. Can Bud, and I know I asked this question before, and like anything can happen fighting, but in your opinion, everyone's like, Shawn Porter can't get stopped. Shawn Porter is not, he's not getting stopped. But Bud's been on this hot streak of, KOs and stoppages. And even if it's in the 12th round, he finds a way. Do you think that Shawn Porter would be stopped by Terence Bud Crawford?
I wouldn't bet on it. No, I wouldn't bet on it. I'll bet that they're going to go to decision. Because, I think Earl Spence hit Porter with a nasty shot, and Porter went to sleep, mid-sleep, and he caught himself. So, but that was like, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, dang, it has maybe two?
2 years
time.
ago?
Yeah, 2 years. Time.
I don't know. Porter seems, how old is Porter, Shawn Porter?
Let me pull it up. Porter is 33.
I thought he was way older. Oh, he's good. Shawn Porter's good then. Yeah, I don't think Crawford knocks him up.
Okay. But goes the distance. I guess from the Shawn Porter aspect, what would you need to do to beat Terence Bud Crawford? Saying the fact that you have
exactly what Shawn Porter does. Just go in there, be awkward as hell, throw hella punches, use his head, shoulder, all that, and just be on him like a fly.
And seeing that Porter's coming as underdog, would it shock you if Porter was able to beat Terence Bud Crawford?
Yeah, it would. Only because, the skill-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys see the main event going on the card you're fighting on, Crawford and Porter?
Yeah, Crawford. I think he's got too many tools in his toolbox. He's the dog right now at 147s, and pound for pound, he's one of them top dogs. But Porter's gonna bring a fight. You know what I'm saying? We know how Porter comes, and that's the style we wanted to see what Crawford could do against. So I'm excited for it.
Anything you would say, Carl?
Yeah, same thing. I think Porter gets hit a little bit too much, and Crawford is just too elusive, bro. He's just too crisp, too sharp. I see Crawford taking a unanimous lead.
Anything Shawn can do,
I
differently?
mean, he has a lot of condition. He looks like he's strong, but that doesn't, like Buddy said, that don't help you win fights, really.
I know you know how to fight on that front foot. That's something Shawn Porter very accustomed to doing.
Yeah.
How tough is that with Terence counterpunching?
It's gonna be real tough. It's gonna be real tough with Terence counterpunching, but it's also gonna be tough because Terence knows how to. He's not afraid to get dirty in there and have that dirty fight. So it's gonna be real tough, and I see him hurting Shawn a little bit.
You see him hurt him, so you don't think it's better off that he just try to box him? He should go ahead.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's up to Shawn, to decide what he needs to do. And I like Shawn too as well. I'm cool with Shawn. I like Shawn too as well. But it's up to them to decide what he wants to do.
I know you're rocking with Bud, right?
Yeah, I'm rocking with Bud for sure.
But what's Shawn's you know, anything he can do to give Terence problems he ain't seen before? He can give him hell.
I don't really know if there's too much Terence ain't seen before, but I mean, my best bet was for him probably to make the fight, make it an ugly fight. That's probably the best thing for him to do.
Okay.
I wouldn't box him. No, not at all.
What about you try the in and out stuff? You know, Shawn, you know, like Pacquiao used to do. Shawn's got
Yeah.
some good,
I mean, I can feel that, but I don't feel like he has the speed as Pacquiao to get away with doing that without getting countered by Terence.
You gonna give him some sparring work to get ready for Shawn Porter?
I'm telling you, he sparred me, man. He do not play. He tell
he
you,
has sparred
man.
you?
If he will tell you he will spar you, he will spar you. It's just that simple. I'm telling you. He will get in there with anybody.
What's that punching power like? Good for 147?
Great. You would think he'd fight 180. Man can punch for sure. He's strong as hell.
How you think that fight go with Shawn?
I think he stopped him in the later rounds. I think maybe round 10, round 11, something like that. I think he break him down because although Shawn does keep the pressure, unfortunately that's a strong man, and I think he's gonna break him down. We'll see though. Time to tell.
And Jerry, I know you gotta sit back and relax for tomorrow night, but just before I let you go, what was it that made Terence elite when you were in the ring with him? Counter punching with this. How would you break it down for the fans?
It's IQ. How he able to break down quickly. You know, we didn't. It was a joke. You know, we played around and all, but you could just tell by how he wants to win. You know how he is. You know what I'm saying? He's an incredible fighter, but he just breaks down very quickly. He can adjust and everything like that. So he's just an elite fighter for sure.
David, man, how do you see the big fight this Saturday now that your fight's over, Crawford Porter?
Now I could relax and actually think about other fights. It's good. I think Crawford's gonna get him, bro. I think it's not gonna be an easy fight because Porter is a tough, rugged fighter. But I think Crawford, he uses good, the ring really good. His IQ is really good. But I mean, we'll see what happens. You know, I think you can't count Porter out because every time you count him out, he does even better what they expect. Like you see with Keith Thurman, Earl Spence, Ugas. You know what I mean? So it's definitely gonna be a good fight. But I got Crawford.
Yeah, you know, obviously you were there in Omaha when your brother gave him his toughest fight of his career. What's Shawn got to do if he can pull it off?
He just got to be himself, but just times 10. You know what I mean? He can't let Crawford box at all. He has to back him into the rings, and he has to do that. And he, like I said, there's a good chance he wins because you see, what's the guy's name? The Russian guy that
Mean Machine.
Mean Machine. You see, he was kind of using that, and he kind of rocked Crawford in the first round, but. You know what I mean? It's going to be a good fight, bro. Both those fighters are solidified fighters, great world champions. It's going to be a banger.
Anything you remember that was like underrated about Shawn when you sparred him? Or
the sparring was different, you know, because I mean, yeah, that's what I knew about him. His pressure was crazy, but I'm way bigger fighter. You know what I mean? So how he would hurt somebody else, it wouldn't really hurt me because obviously I fucking outweighed him for like 50 pounds.
Right.
But he does have really good pressure. That's what I'm saying. His pressure could really help him.
And lastly, just on that fight, man, Crawford's a great counter puncher. What do you do to succeed against the counter punch? What do you do to find success against that kind of stuff?
A lot of pressure and a lot of body shots, and I think it's a lot of catch and shoot. Sometimes you throw stuff to make them throw something, and to make them counter, and you counter the counter. But it's harder than it sounds, bro. So that you really have to be on point with everything. But I think the pressure and the body shots.
The other big fight coming up, the welterweight Crawford and Porter. How do you see that fight going, Jamal?
That's going to be an interesting fight, man. I think those are weird. Those are two unique styles. You know what I mean? I think Crawford is very slick and tricky, but Porter has a style that can kind of make you look bad. And it's kind of hard to be tricky with him, you know what I mean? You have to kind of fight him a certain way. You know, he's short, he's quick, got some power. You know, he does little things that are kind of weird. So, you know, I'm actually.
I think Crawford could counterpunch him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's hard to counterpunch him. It's hard to counterpunch Shawn Porter because he's like all up under you. You know what I mean? Got fast feet. It's going to be interesting, I think. You know, I don't know. I don't really have a strong prediction. I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going on. I'm gonna see what happens with it.
How you see this fight going though, Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter?
I think Terence can stop Shawn. I think it's gonna be hard as hell to stop Shawn though.
But I got Terence winning. It's easy. I think he just can box. You know, Terence just can box. Flawless boxer. And I think he gonna win easy.
You know, you like to put that pressure on, especially in the pros, you know, and so does Shawn. How tough is that to do successfully against a counterpuncher like a Terence Crawford?
It's hard. It's definitely hard, I'm not even gonna lie. I got a tall brother, Keon, like 6'3", and all he do is try to counter me, and it's hard for me, so. All respect to Shawn. Tough fighter, warrior. We all know he coming to fight. It's gonna be hard for him that night. I think the size, like sizing up though, the size difference ain't crazy. But like I said, just a better boxing ability. I just think Terence got it.
No, Shawn's a little more thicker build, but Terence got longer arms,
yeah.
Right? So
it kind of balances out.
Yeah.
Crawford Porter, Leonard. How do you see that fight going Saturday night?
I think it's a terrific fight. I'm a fan of both guys.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific fight.
I mean, I know Floyd in the past has said that's the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, Terence Crawford.
Yeah, he's an excellent fighter. None but respect. Excellent damn fighter. Shawn Porter is too. Shawn Porter gonna bring it too. It's one of them fun fights.
You feel like sparring with Tank, southpaw with power and speed helps Shawn get ready for Terence?
Well, anytime you have great work,
right.
And that's what it comes down to. Anytime you have great work, you pushing yourself, that's great. That's a great thing.
It just lastly, man, on Terence and Shawn, they polled 20 people with Ring Magazine who's gonna win the fight. All 20 picked Bud Crawford. You think that's a little bit much going against Shawn's way, or what do you think of that?
Well, Shawn will be motivated, and Shawn's gonna be Shawn. Shawn's always in exciting fights, and Shawn's gonna go in there and do his thing. We're gonna see. We're gonna see this Saturday. So I think it's a terrific matchup. The timing is great. You know, Bud's 34 now.
They're both 34.
Yeah. So again, you know, Shawn's had a couple losses and very close fights. You know what I mean? And we know what Bud has been able to do. You know, this is definitely the best fighter that Bud would have faced. You know, and I think that both guys are going to bring out the best in each other. That's why I think it's a terrific matchup. And again, a great deal of respect to both fighters. And again, the fans really win in this instance. You know,
Vito, just gotta ask, man. I know you've been doing some work with Showtime Shawn Porter.
Yeah.
What's that work been like?
Yeah, I mean, every round with Shawn Porter is just like, it's all knowledge. You're learning on the job. Obviously, he's been at the top level. He knows what it takes to get to the top. And he's stronger than what I thought he was. I'm not gonna lie. He's stronger. He's quicker. I'm excited to watch him put on. I think he has a great shot of beating Terence Crawford, I believe. I think if he's the person to do it, definitely him, especially with his style.
You mentioned he surprised you. It sounds like guys that get in the ring, that's what happens, because it seems like on the outside looking in, people try to maybe underestimate him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because people underestimate his, boxing skills. He's a little unorthodox. People think he's just awkward, but he's definitely got a method to his madness for sure. He gets inside really quick. Obviously, I'm a longer fighter. His first step is quick. He has power, everything. He's just an outstanding fighter.
Yeah, how's his feet? That in and out rhythm?
Oh, it's crazy. His footwork is nuts. Like I said, it's not what I expected. I thought I was going to be able to handle him more on the outside just with my length, but I guess that's the reason why he's at where he's at. Not everyone probably thought that, and then when he got in the ring, they couldn't keep him at that length.
What do you think? You know, just being I'm sure you were a boxing fan before even the amateurs, and now being a professional. What do you think as, just a fan getting ready for the fight, he's going to have to do? Some of the things he'll have to do to actually pull off an upset against Terence Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just for him to be him fight how Shawn Porter fights. That's what got him to where he's at, and I think that's what won him most of his biggest fights. So him just doing what he does and just performing at the highest level, I think that'll get him the victory.
Does Shawn Porter beat Crawford, Ryan?
She said that. It's gonna be a mother. Hey, that's why I'm looking for. That's gonna be a war. She said that again.
I know you've spoken to Terence in the past and sparred Shawn Porter. How you see that fight going down?
I love that fight because we get a chance to see, Terence against somebody who's gonna come forward, who got a chin, who's gonna be there. We're gonna see like how he can adjust and how he can put his punches together. So I'm excited to see that fight.
He's a big underdog, Shawn is. Do you see it that way, or more 50-50 fight? How do you see it, Devin?
I mean, I think Terence is a monster. Couple more. I can't say. You can't never count nobody out, especially a guy like Shawn Porter who's been at the top for so long. He's been in there with the best.
Boxing.
Yeah, it's boxing. He's never been knocked out. So you can never count Shawn Porter.